What's going on, YouTube? So today we're going to go over my TradingView setup. The reason why I would like to make this my first video on YouTube is because going further, we will be going over my strategy, how it is that I trade. If you do look at my chart, you will see it is very similar to ICT, the Inner Circle Trader, and kind of how they follow liquidity, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity, fair value gaps, and all that. But then I also do kind of combine some of my own stuff by looking at volume, as well as looking at sessions and understanding when liquidity is grabbed during what sessions, which we will go over to in videos that are to come in the future. Today I just want to show you guys how I set up my charts, so when you guys do follow my videos in the future, if you would like to have a similar chart setup, you can do that, and you can follow along with my videos. So as you see, this is my chart setup of what it is that we're going to be building today. You could minus all of the drawings. This is what we're going to be building today. Now, when you go into TradingView for the first time, or whether you just have your TradingView set up, it most likely looks something like this, right? This is how your TradingView is going to look. So the first thing that we want to do when we are setting up this chart is we want to right click and go to settings. Okay, right click and go to settings. The first thing that we're going to go to is symbol. All right, and the first step of what we're going to do is change our body, the borders, and the wick. Okay, so for all of these red that you see here, we're actually going to turn this black. Okay, it's all going to be black, right? And then for the borders, it is going to be black as well. For this wick, it is going to be black as well. Now, this body is a special color, so it's this color right here. This is the color 7CB781, so you guys can copy that and put it in. This is the color that ICT actually uses in theirs, which is what we follow. So this is basically how you're going to see your charts, right? See your candlesticks. Now, one thing that we are going to unclick is last. I do not like this on my chart because, as you will see here, last, if you look, it shows the last price and it shows a line for that last price, right? It shows the line for it. I don't like it just because I can see it here, so I actually have mine off, but you can keep yours on if you would like, but mine goes off. Next, we're going to go into the status line. So for the status line, title, I like to have the ticker and description. Okay, I do not have the open market status on. I like to have the open, high, lows, close values on, and I do not like to have this bar change value, right? So I turn this off. So all of this is off. Now, as far as my indicators, I only use two indicators, which is a sessions indicator as well as a volume indicator. I actually also turn my arguments off as well, just because it's extra stuff on the screen that I do not like, right? So this is what my status line will look like. Okay, next we go to scales, right? So for scales, I keep symbol last price, and then I also keep no overlapping. This indicators and financial values I do not have on, and then I keep the countdown to bar close on. What this is if you can see over here, you can count down to when the next when this candle is going to close and when the next candle will open. So we're on the 15-minute time frame. In 34 seconds, this candle is going to actually close. Okay, so I typically just don't like to have that on my candle or on my chart, so I leave that off. So I typically will leave that off, but if you like it on for this video, we'll just leave it on so you guys can see it. Okay, that is your choice. It's nothing that's really major. Next, I also do leave the plus button on as well. Really don't know what that is. I've just always just left it there. Haven't really changed it. Next, we're going to go to appearance. The first thing that we like to do for the background is I actually don't like it gradient. I make it a solid color. And then with this solid color, I actually turn it to this gray, right? It's the second gray that's over. It's a whitish gray color. So this is what I move it to. I also, you guys can see that if I was to turn the opacity on this, you would be able to see vertical lines and horizontal lines, okay? I actually do not like mine on at all. Now, I know some traders like to actually have theirs as it helps with key levels. If you do like to have your lines on, I would do horizontal only, and then I would just turn the opacity down to whatever it is that you like. I actually just don't like these on. I really don't need them, but I know beginner traders typically do like them. Next, something that I do different than ICT is I actually like to have my watermark on. So the watermark is whatever ticker or security that you are trading will show up on the chart. Now, the reason why I do like to have these watermarks on is because if I ever post, charts on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, if I'm on YouTube, I want you to easily be able to see what it is that I'm looking at and trading. Obviously, you can go up here and see it as well, but I just like to have it on my chart, especially when I'm posting on Twitter and in the Discord as well. Okay. After that, we can scroll down and we will go to text, and I make my text black. Okay, so I leave the text black. After that, we go down to margins. I leave the top at 10%. The bottom I move to 10%, and then the right I leave it at 10 bars. Reason why I have the bottom at 10% is if we come through and make lows, sometimes they won't show up on the chart, depending on how quick it is, if this is at 8, right? So I like to have it at 10%. Okay. Next is trading. This, I actually do not switch up anything as far as the trading goes. I leave this all here. I do actually not trade on TD Ameritrade. I actually log into TradingView and have it on a different screen, and I would trade off TradingView. However, I have been looking to link my TradingView to here. So this might be something that's coming to change in the future, and I will let you know. Events. For events, I turn the latest news and mines off, but I like to have continuous contract switch on. The reason why I like to have this on is because whenever your contracts do trade, you will be able to see when it is that they do trade and when they will switch, right? So when we're trading ES, which I trade futures, I know that our contracts trade based on the month, so it's May, which actually I think we're actually about to switch contracts right now, pretty soon, right? With this being this week. So I like to leave this on. Now, that is how I like to have my chart settings and my chart setup, okay? Now, once you have this, what you can do is you can go to template and you can save as, right? I already have mine saved. This is what it's saved as, but you can save it as and name it whatever it is that you would want, okay? So that's how I have my chart set up. Whoops. So actually, this is what it looks like, okay? This is what it's saved as. Now, once you do all this, next what we're going to talk about are the tools and the indicators. I also don't have my watermark on. No bueno. There we go. And then let me save that as well. Okay. Let me just make sure that I save this. Make sure that it does save. Yes. Okay, cool. So next what we are going to do is we're going to remove indicators. I don't need that volume indicator. Okay. The indicators that I use, which I will show you, are one called Volume Bull Bear. It is by PAX, P-A-A-X, okay? You guys can go, and when you go to indicators, just type in Volume Bull Bear, and it will pop up. It's the one by PAX. It's in my favorites. I click it, okay? When you see your Volume Bull Bear, it will not look like this. It most likely will probably look like something like, whoops. It most likely will look something like this, okay? This is what it's going to look like, all right? I like my bull volume and bear volume to show up exactly how my candlesticks are. So for total volume, I actually leave that as green, but then for the bear volume, I will actually turn that and make it black and have it set just like this. So it's the same as my candlesticks, right? Make it this color. So it works the same as my candlesticks. This is the first indicator that I use. Basically, it shows the total volume, and then it also shows the bear volume overlapping it as well. So you can see if bearish volume is increasing or decreasing, as we also see that total volume as well. Next indicator I use is this thing called sessions. Now with sessions, I like to have just the London open, New York open, and London closed kill zones, and then I also turn the lines off, okay? My color, as you can see, it's all the same. So you can see the difference between the kill zones if I was to turn them on off. First kill zone is the London kill zone, right? You guys should know what kill zones are. They are basically when, we see those big movements and volatility is extra high. So London open kill zone is from 2 a.m. to I believe 5 a.m. Eastern time. Yes. New York open kill zone is from 8:30, 9 a.m. to basically 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then London close kill zone is from 1:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, right? So these are the indicators I like to have. Another thing that is important is make sure when you scroll down to your time zone, I have mine on the New York time zone. This is what I like to have it on. This is what I suggest. UTC -4 New York, okay? This is the timeline I like to have it on, okay? Next, we're just going to be talking about tools, and then this should wrap up the video, okay? So for the tools that I use the trend line, the arrow, the horizontal line, the GAN box, the rectangle, the path, text, none of these, and then I use the long and the short positions, right? So I have special favorites and templates for these tools that I will go over with you, just so you guys can see it and see how we set up our charts, right? So basically, if I was to go on the daily time frame, I told you guys I do follow basically heavy into ICT and liquidity and stuff like that. So with this, I can see that we have last week lows right here, liquidity. So this is sell side liquidity. So I would draw this trend line and I would click on it and drag it across, right? And then I will right click it, I go to template, and I go to sell side liquidity, relative equal lows. So the way this looks is this is the style, this is the text, this is how I have my text alignment. I actually need to move this to the right, and then I have my coordinates and I have my visibility, as you guys can see. So that's sell side liquidity equal lows. This is what I have for that, right? I also, if we go to last week as well, you can see that we have buy side liquidity, right? Which typically I have buy side liquidity, but this buy side liquidity has been purged. As you can see, actually we went through and we shot through it, which is actually today. We shot through the buy side liquidity. So what I like to do for this one is I right click it. For buy side liquidity that's been purged, I like to do, for buy side liquidity that's been purged, I like to do the X to let me know that it has been purged and it has been hit, right? I also, if you will look, you can see that we have from 2 weeks ago, we have all the way up here. Let's just say it was not purged, right? And I want to show some buy side liquidity. I would basically have this one right here, and I would draw a line right across, right click it, template, and it would look like this buy side liquidity, okay? And then as you see, if I wanted to have some of 2 weeks ago, which we already see here, that you can kind of see we have more sell side liquidity that has not been purged yet. So I would drag this over like that, right click, template, it would be sell side liquidity, relative equal lows. I actually need to change this to go to the right, and same with this, I need to change it to go to the right as well, and I'll save that later. Now I also have some other ones as well. So I like to have the previous day highs and previous day lows. So here we have this one right here, which is previous day lows. So this is right now, this was yesterday, previous day lows. So what I would do is I would right click and I would have template and I would have previous day low, and then I would have here, which is the previous day high. So I would just click on that high, move it over, right, and right click, template, previous day highs, right? So I'll do that on the daily time frame. If we move on to the 1 hour time frame, you then can see all of these levels that I had, right? For basically my liquidity. So this is how I have my chart set up. We will go into how I use liquidity and how I combine it with these sessions during specific times of the day to trade, as well as how I combine it with volume, all right? So this video was just basically how I set up my chart. So as you guys can see, these charts look very, very similar, right? Because they should be the exact same. This is what my charts end up looking like. And yeah, so until future videos, thank you guys for tuning in. Our next videos will be going over different trading strategies, different trading recaps, just so you guys can learn how it is that we trade here at Futures Funded. Thank you for watching this video.